He was asked to work on the engine of a huge Peterbilt logging truck. Bruce describes that day. I slipped underneath the great big bumper feet first. The driver of the truck had the front axle jacked up in the air and the passenger side wheel removed. I said to him, "You jump up inside and see what the temp of the engine is." The axle is going right across my chest at this point, maybe an inch or two above my chest. This 10,000 to 12,000 pounds of weight that is on these two front wheels on this axle came down across my midsection and just crushed me in half. Blood had splattered into my throat when it fell. I looked down and I could see that there was less than an inch of airspace between the bottom of the axle and the cement. The vertebrae in my spine were cracked the width of the axle. I tried to pull myself out from under the truck. It was very painful. I got myself just to the point where my head is sticking out from the front bumper of the truck. The very next thing I just called out, "Lord, help me." I called it out twice. At that point I became unconscious. My spirit left my body and floated to the ceiling, and now my spirit is looking at the accident scene from above. At this point, Bruce recalls seeing two huge angels. There was a bright light shining around each one of them. They were matching bookends. They didn't budge. I never heard them say anything. They just had their arms underneath the truck, not holding the truck up, but they had their arms angled in toward my body. There was no pain, just peace. Bruce knew he had a choice to make. Shut his eyes, die and go to heaven, or listen to a quieter voice that said, "If you want to live, you're going to have to fight, and you are going to have to fight hard." Bruce says, "The next thing I knew, my spirit went back down into my body just like a shot." Bruce was rushed to the hospital, where doctors did not expect him to live. His ribs were broken, his pancreas and spleen crushed, and several major arteries severed. I should have bled to death in a few minutes. So my thought is the angels were there to somehow hold me together. Bruce was in the hospital for over 2 months, also had 5 major surgeries, and removed 75% of his intestines. He could only be fed intravenously and lost a lot of weight. One day, Bruce had an unexpected visitor, and he tells about what happened. He was someone that I met one time on vacation. He came and prayed for me in the hospital. He put his palm on my forehead, and when he prayed the way Jesus taught us to pray. 9 months later, after additional surgeries and hospital stays, Bruce had gained weight and was eating by himself. The doctors were amazed and astounded over and over again that Bruce lived through this trauma, as he should have died within 8 to 10 minutes after the accident. God performed miracle after miracle. Bruce could have bled to death but didn't. Extended and better functioning intestines grew back. His pancreas and spleen were restored. Bruce proclaims God was just showing up and showing himself very real and very strong. He is a miracle worker.